Alright, the fourth episode of Peacemaker has been released on HBO Max. We are now already halfway through this season, so now I talk about this episode with spoilers. That is a spoiler warning. If you have not watched this fourth episode yet, you probably should not watch this video, unless you don't care, in which case, hello, welcome. Alright, you've been warned. So I'm just gonna dive right in. The episode starts out the next day after the events of the previous episode, so I was like, okay, what happened to that butterfly thing we found at the end? We do get an explanation from Peacemaker though. He says, I shot it. He shot it and it blew apart. Alright, well, at least we get an explanation. I would have hated to leave that last scene on a loose end. More on that later. So, Peacemaker and Vigilante, they go to Peacemaker's dad's house to get new helmets, right? Which, yeah, alright, it's cool to see the secret lair again. And actually, we get an explanation for what it is in this episode. Peacemaker actually explains it to Vigilante. He says, and I quote, "It's a quantum unfolding storage area. It leads to a dimensional nodule outside normal space." So basically, Peacemaker's saying that this secret lair is like its own little pocket dimension. That's awesome. I wonder if that's a thing from the comics or if it's just completely original. I wouldn't be surprised either way. But also in this episode, while we're in the secret lair, we get to see for the first time the old White Dragon suit. Yeah, Augie Smith actually had a White Dragon suit. Knowing DC, I wasn't sure if they were gonna go all the way with the costume or if they were just gonna be like, yeah, he was called the White Dragon and that's all there was to it. Nope, apparently he had the suit. So I imagine that suit's gonna come back into play a little later in the season. I mean, that's just a prediction for now, but I mean, why would they make that suit if it's not going to be worn later? I'm pretty sure they wouldn't make it just for the Easter egg, you know? Just saying. So then, Peacemaker finds out that his dad was put in jail. Yeah, nice going, Economos. And so he goes to visit him. And again, we get another scene where we're like, God damn, Robert Patrick, your character is such a douche. I like the conversation, actually, that Peacemaker has with Adebayo before he goes into prison, where Adebayo's like, yeah, most people have it in them to be a good person inside, but not your father. Your father is not a good man. And we see in the conversation that Peacemaker has with his father that Adebayo is right. He is not a good man in the slightest. Because my God, the things he says to his son, I can't even imagine. Every time an insult comes out of his mouth, I'm always like, Jesus Christ. I don't even think I can say that to someone I'm not related to. But actually, we find out in this conversation that Peacemaker had a brother. Yeah, I didn't know that. And alright, this pretty much makes Augie Smith Denethor from Lord of the Rings, where he loved his firstborn son, but he treats his secondborn son like shit. Yeah, he's Denethor. Just a more realistic and worse version of him. And actually, towards the end of the episode, we see in a flashback that when Peacemaker was a kid, his brother died under some unknown circumstances as of yet. We hear Harcourt say that Chris Smith was somehow involved in it. I imagine we'll delve deeper into that later on in the season. And I'm actually curious, I'm not gonna lie. I want to know about Peacemaker's family trauma, because now we're getting somewhere. We're diving into his psyche. That's actually what I was looking forward to about this show in the first place. What made him a douche, and can he be redeemed? That's the good stuff right there, you know? So after the conversation between Peacemaker and his father, Adebayo actually manipulates Vigilante into trying to kill Augie Smith. It's funny, he goes like on the patio and he takes his trash can, he bashes it against the window. You would think before he even got the chance to bash the trash can against the window, the police would have done something about it. Like as he was dragging it across the ground, you would think an officer would be like, hey, what are you doing? Stop that. But I guess the punishment's supposed to come after the crime. So yeah, Vigilante gets himself arrested, and he's like, I'm gonna go kill Augie Smith. This is actually pretty funny, because he sits down at the table where Augie Smith is hanging with his jabronis, and I'll tell you what, he's got a mouth. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I mean, holy shit, dude. James Gunn wrote this episode? That guy can write rude comedy like no one's business. I was laughing out loud at some of Vigilante's lines here. They were pretty good. And on top of that mouth, he's also got skills. Like some actual good fighting skills. After the first guy swings at him, he just beats them up like Taekwondo style. I don't know exactly what martial arts style he used, but you know, he used some good fighting moves, like some actual good choreographed fighting moves. And he beats the shit out of him. I was actually surprised. I was like, okay, so he actually knows how to fight. He's not just some big buffoon who follows Peacemaker around like a dog. Props to that. He doesn't kill Augie Smith though, although he does let it slip that, yeah, he was in there because of Peacemaker. You dumbass, why would you do that? Now Augie Smith is gonna end up getting Peacemaker arrested. Way to go. So yeah, now I imagine the police are gonna be after Peacemaker and the Argus team. Great, just another thing we gotta deal with. Although it is appreciated that the Argus team does get Adrian Chase out of jail. Never leave a man behind, I guess. Even the dumb ones. Also in this episode, we have Judo Master, Kato from Green Hornet. After Economos knocked him out at the end of the previous episode, he's all restrained up and hooked up to an IV. I don't know why he was hooked up to an IV, but he was. But he breaks out of those wrist restraint things like Thor did in the first Thor movie, where I'm like, I have no idea how you did that. That shouldn't be possible, unless you like break your wrists or something, but I don't think he did that. And so when Peacemaker and Adebayo get back to HQ, I like how Peacemaker goes outside, he's like, Rematch, motherfucker! That was a good line. That was good. I mean, he goes outside, we see the plastic bag rolling across the street. I was like, okay, they're going full Western here. That's funny. And then we have our rematch. And it's a pretty good fight. I actually didn't hate the shaky cam here. In fact, a lot of the handheld cinematography I feel works for this show. Because this show is all about getting, you know, into the nitty gritty of it. And I feel like shaky cam in this case is the right fit. And plus, it's not too shaky, you know? It's not like where you can't see what's going on. It's just the right amount of shaky. But anyway, alright, back to the fight. The fight actually ends with Kato getting shot by Adebayo, which is actually a pretty big deal. Because this is the first time that Adebayo has even fired a bullet at anyone. And at the time anyway, we thought it would be her first kill. First kills are always really emotional scenes to me. They always get to me. You know, Tomb Raider, Joker. Although the way Adebayo reacted here, I was like, alright. I mean, obviously she is dealing with it emotionally, but she didn't like cry or throw up or anything. And I don't know. I feel like doing one of those things would have made the scene a little better. I mean, come on.
To take someone's life, that is something you can't shake.
Or so they say anyway. But actually, before Kato gets shot, he says something. He's like, you know nothing. You have no idea. The butterflies are not what you think. And then he gets shot. Now, a couple of thoughts go into my head here. One, I think he might be bluffing. He was probably trying to save his own skin by lying to them about his knowledge of the butterflies. Although, then again, how would he know they're called butterflies? Huh. Alright, maybe he does know something. I guess we'll see in the second half of the season because it turns out that Judo Master here might not be dead. Yeah, he might actually survive being shot in the chest. Hey, I mean, if Peacemaker can survive getting shot in the neck, I guess anything's possible here in the DCEU. And so then we find out that Peacemaker did not shoot that butterfly at the end of the last episode, but he did in fact capture it. Which, alright. Great. I wonder why he kept it from the Argus team. I don't think that's a good idea. I think we should take out this butterfly and examine it, study it, find out what it's up to. I don't think you should be getting it high while you dance and mourn your long-lost brother. You weirdo. Seriously though, why aren't you showing this to the team? I want to know. And finally, at the end of the episode, final shocking twist! Clemson Mern, the leader of this Argus team, who's kind of a tool himself. This character I was actually starting to like after his emotional scene with Economos a couple episodes ago. Yeah, he's a butterfly. Damn, dude. It's funny, after the scene ended, my friend texted me and we were pretty much like, Dude! Yeah, holy shit! What? Okay, so I imagine this character has a countdown clock above his head, cause he's probably gonna die. But what are his intentions? What does he actually plan on doing about this Project Butterfly case with the Argus team? I guess we'll find out. So in the end, this 4th episode of Peacemaker was pretty good. I don't think it's my favorite episode yet, but you know, the show's still trucking along. We're going at our pace, we're solving the mystery of these weird butterfly things. We've made some progress. We're in motion, and now we're halfway through the season. So I think it might be time to kick this show into high gear. Then again, this show started off on high gear. This show's a ride, and I am enjoying it. So, the 4th episode of Peacemaker, titled Chapter 4, The Chode Less Traveled. Have you watched it yet? What do you think about it? And what do you think will end up happening to Mern? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna get back to watching The Phantom of the Opera. Yeah, it's about high time I familiarize myself with this show, since I've heard only good things about it. Peace!